Hello, everyone, and welcome to the official Queens United Chess podcast. I'm your host, Shivi Shrivastava, the director of podcasts at Queens United Chess. Today's guest is highly accomplished women's grandmaster Sabina Foisor. She repeatedly represented Romania at the European Youth Chess Championship and won various medals. In the United States, she was a member of the U.S. Women's Chess Olympic team and won the 2017 U.S. Women's Chess Championship. So without further ado, we'd like to introduce Sabina. Welcome to the Queens United podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen in.
Hi, Shivi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to talking to you, and hopefully, our conversation is going to be inspiring for some of your audience, and maybe it'll bring you new audience as well. And it's always nice to share your knowledge with others. So, if I can at least inspire someone to do something good, at least I'm hoping I can do that. So.
Yeah.
I'm really glad to be a part of your podcast, and hopefully I'm looking forward to many more of these interviews for you to continue, because I think what you're doing is great to continue inspiring girls to play chess.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really looking forward to this interview. So, I really want to go back in time a little bit and get to know how it all began. So, how old were you when you were first introduced to chess, and when did you start playing competitively?
So I was around 4.5 years old. I come from a chess family. Both my parents were international masters, and I grew up with this idea that we wanted to be a chess family, traveling together um, from Romania, which is, not not the country that had that many chess tournaments. We would oftentimes travel abroad. We would drive by car to, mostly France and Spain and Italy and Germany as well, and just play tournaments as a family. I also have a chess, not the chess. She's not playing chess anymore, but I also have a sister. So she's younger, so the four of us traveled for tournaments many times. And my first tournament was when I was about 5.5 or 6 years old, I believe. My parents took me to this tournament in France, and I think I scored maybe 1 point or something. But I remember there's this picture of me with the trophy, and I think I just loved winning in the beginning. I just loved getting a bit of the attention, and as a kid, you like to get attention, and um, then with that comes the work too. So at some point, I had to put in the work, and my parents in the beginning had patience with me to teach me the game and kind of make sure that I would spend time every day to work on chess on different things, and it kind of started from there. And it was kind of implied that whether or not I will become super strong player, it wasn't clear, but it was clear that I would do something related to chess. And I had no choice in the beginning. Let's say, not in a bad way. Okay, don't take it in a bad way, but like the idea that chess became a part of my life. So my parents emphasized on my upbringing as a person that would learn things in school. So school was a big thing. I was going to school every day like normal, and chess was an additional thing that I was doing. And they tried to teach me to be able to balance both, so that I had time for getting good grades in school, but also continue my chess improvement. So I think my dad mostly didn't really care so much that I get the best grades. That was something that I got myself, and maybe my mom wanted me to be really like a top, like get only A's or something.
Yeah.
But the biggest emphasis was on learning foreign languages and chess, because with chess, if you get to be a strong player, you get to travel to different places. So having the knowledge of other languages rather than Romanian, which is a Latin language, but just knowing English like was a big thing. And so that was something that they emphasized on, that they wanted me to know more about other cultures and just be respectful as well about cultural norms and things like that. So I grew up with all of these things.
Yeah. So, how many languages do you know?
I usually say that I speak four fluently.
Mhm.
So Romanian, English, French, and Spanish. But since Romanian is a Latin language, Italian is easy for me to understand because it's a Latin language, and I'm a bit shy to speak it because they have this different intonation of how they speak. I think it's just part of the culture. And for me, because I'm a foreigner, somehow it just feels unnatural. So I feel that I'm maybe overdoing it. So I'm a bit shy to speak it. And I also studied Russian language for 3 years in college. So I understand a lot of Russian, and I did study a bit of German too, but um, I felt the German was the hardest for me to learn. I
Yeah.
don't know why. So I don't count that. I don't count German as knowing it because I felt that my grammar is so bad all the time, and maybe I know words, but yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. But those four definitely pretty fluently.
Wow, that's really impressive. So,
Thank
in in chess, when you started off, what would you say was your biggest motivation and inspiration to the game as you got older?
So in the beginning, it was definitely, the winning part. I really loved being first, and I just kind of put a lot of pressure on myself to try to be first in national championships all the time. And I think that was the motivation to just keep winning. And I actually wanted to be stronger than my parents because at some point, I don't know, I grew this kind of toughness towards my dad. I felt sometimes he was a bit too tough with me with chess. So
Mhm.
I felt that if I would manage to win against him, he would be proud of me. And yeah, sometimes I would feel he wasn't. So it was also to kind of outdo him a little bit and be able to simply win some games. And that was the first part. And then I think I started developing love for creativity. So for me, making a beautiful game, just being able to come up with ideas that you're not normally thinking about, or winning a game with, like in a positional fashion, or great attacks. I love those too, but I'm more of a positional player, so I enjoy having control of the center, having more space, just kind of restrict my opponent as much as possible to the point that they don't have much to do. If I can create a game like that, then that is something that I love the most about chess. And that's actually something that I remember too when I study. I don't remember, unfortunately, I should, but I don't remember the names of the players who played games, but I remember the ideas, and I love a good story. So I would love to, when I hear that someone was not doing very well, but then they came back and they won. So I love stories like that, and I love creativity over the board. So I think that's something that you get from chess. And in a way, and I don't like to say this as much, but um, you kind of develop this like an addiction for chess. If you really love it and you love winning, you just kind of um, wanna get better, and you find ways to somehow stay into the game and work harder so they can outplay some players and just be better. There's always something to learn, in my opinion, in chess. And if you have the time, well, if I have the time, I like to spend time learning more about it, so that even if I cannot get much stronger myself, because at this point, I'm older. It's not the same as when I was a kid and I had a lot of time, but
Mhm.
just be able to later share the knowledge with others. I'm currently also a coach, so when you become a coach, you always try to not just teach the same things over and over, but try to find ways to improve yourself so that you can help your pupils to to get better. That's a goal that you should have, in my opinion, as a coach. So I try to do it both for myself, but to be able to share the knowledge later too.
Mhm. So you mentioned when you were younger that you wanted to that you like winning and then you like
Yes,
beating your opponents.
right.
So when you did have a loss, how did you learn from it? How did you recover from it for next time?
There was having losses is always very tough, and I think everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of people develop egos, and they're not. I think sometimes we see people losing and they behave in a certain way. They're obviously mad with themselves. They have nothing against you, but I think a lot of people internalize things, and if you approach them when they are not happy, they're obviously upset about the loss. They might You might not perceive them as nice people, but I think it's just something that needs to be internalized and accepted. And sometimes it's harder than other times. When I lose a game, depending on why I lost. So if I played a really good game and I blundered, I'm much more mad at myself than if I just my opponent outplayed me. They just played much better, and I didn't understand that. So I'm much more willing to let it go when I get outplayed than when I lose because I make a blunder. And I gotta say, I don't have special way of telling people how to get over losses because I've had moments where I had nightmares. I would just dream of this position in an end game that I blundered, and I would just dream about it, and I come up with some fun way to win it, like a study in my head. But then when I would wake up, I wouldn't remember it, which was
Yeah.
sad because I told you I love creativity, so if I could come up with something, it would be great. But um I usually get very mad for some time, so it's not very good to be too close to me during those periods.
Mhm.
But I try to let it go by the next day because I like to tell myself tomorrow is another day, and there's another game, and there's always going to be another day and another game. Well, unless God forbid.
Yeah.
But but this will not be the last game that I lose in my life. And so if you start telling yourself that, I think at least um, you can get over it for the period of time for the tournament, and then you can think about it later and try to see where you went wrong to improve. The toughest part is to really accept the mistake that you make. But once you accept it and you're willing to spend time to um, like assimilate it in your knowledge, then I think you can just you be better.
Yeah.
But it's not easy.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So do you remember particularly any game that you took to heart? It could be any time during your career, but any game that you took to heart that you still remember that you learned a lot from. It doesn't have to be a loss, but just in general.
Yeah, definitely. I have quite a few games, like I actually like when I coach to use some of my own examples, because sometimes when people take lessons from me or when they have a coach, they think the coach is perfect and they don't make mistakes, and of course they do. So while when I first started coaching, I would just show my wins. Now I like to use both, and start with losses so that they can see that, look, I make mistakes too, and it's okay, and you can get over them. I have a game that I played in this tournament in 2015. I had just learned this defense against the Catalan, and I thought I understood everything. It was the first time I was playing that system, and I played the idea that I thought had to be played, and it was move 15 or something like that, and it was just a huge blunder, after which I'm just lost. It looked like a good move. It was the kind of idea you had to do, but there was a tactical um, idea by my opponent that I didn't even feel. And I lost, and that was kind of painful because I had a really great tournament, and then to finish the tournament like that with lost in a few moves, that was bad. And I had a few others. I think my coach prepared me to play this opening, and it was a piece sacrifice, and it wasn't like computer approved. I checked it myself, and I realized, look, I'm if my opponent knows to play this, I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna stay with the piece down. And I remember my coach at the time mentioned to me that no, no, don't worry, she won't know. And I won't say who the player is because then maybe it'll be implied, but who the coach was and everything. But it was just like, no, but this player is very strong, and I will. She will find it. And my coach was like, no, 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 don't worry about it. And of course she found it, and I
Yeah.
lost. And then I didn't work with that coach anymore because I was like, no, you can't do this to me. Um, and yeah, so that was one. A super painful loss also was at this Olympiad in 2014. I was 5 out of 5, helping the team do really well. And unfortunately, I uh, totally missed a threat of my opponent. She made this strange move that I didn't understand, and I totally missed her threat. And then I make a move in a better position, and she had a double attack, like in one move, as simple as that. And I would just lose a piece. I couldn't escape. And I felt so shocked about that unfortunately I wasn't able to regain my confidence and still try to fight. And I lost pretty fast. And I felt really bad because my team needed me to do well. I was doing well, so they trusted me. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to keep the expectations. So I lost. So simple, so in a silly fashion, so easy, a game that I don't believe I should have lost. And that was another very painful one. There are these tough ones that you miss some opportunity, and like, because of that, the tournament doesn't go your way. I even remember one that I lost when I was 10. It was or 12. It was this Romanian youth championship, and I was playing in the last round against this girl. And uh, because I lost that game, I lost the title. I got second. And as a kid, you forget those things maybe, but what I remember to this day about that is that she killed, like, my bishop in light square bishop was um stayed stuck. I couldn't get it out. It was some kind of like Slav pawn structure.
Mhm.
And I just died. The bishop just basically, I played without a piece. And I never forgot that loss. And after that, I think every single time I was super focused with that particular girl. That I
Mhm.
made sure that I won every time. There's always stuff like that. With
Yeah.
the wins, I have one more. So I've given you so many examples, but with
Mhm.
the wins, I have this one that I remember. There was a girl as I was growing up who I would always lose to. I think I had lost 2 or 3 games against her. And I remember my mom actually um, decided to teach me this defense. And I learned it that morning, and I prepped it, and I played it against her, and I won. I wasn't it wasn't a perfect game, but just it gave me the confidence to not feel that the girl is in any way better than me or superior or any, because sometimes as girls I think we have this tendency when we lose to someone more than once, we have this tendency to develop some kind of feeling of being scared of them, or just not playing our best, because there's always something in the back of our mind saying that, well, I lost to this girl and something, but just trying to get over that in some way, like just you need one win, and I think that that can definitely give you some confidence to know that you're not, there's nothing wrong with you if you can't get it, but if you can get the win, but um just forget about the past, forget about the fact that that person won against you, because that can affect your mental ability to think in the game. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you've had a peak rating of 2,386, which is very impressive. So what do you believe were the key factors that contributed to this peak?
Yeah, so I always think about that because now I've had some very bad times where I lost a lot of rating, so I'm trying to get back to it.
Yeah.
So I think I was 19 or so when I hit, or 18 or 19 years old when I got that rating, and I think it was a period in my life where I was spending a lot of time studying chess and being focused on chess. I tell this to my students and I try to always talk about it. And I think sometimes people don't understand that before the era of computers, or we were spending a lot of time on chess, like on a physical board. And when I say a lot of time, like 3, 4 hours a day of chess. Sometimes if I didn't have school or assignments, I would spend even 8 hours, like a work day of just
Wow.
working on like different things, playing blitz games with my family, or solving, like literally wake up, do something like eat breakfast, do some 2, 3 hours of chess tactics and games, analyze my games, or have a book that I would read, and then I would do some stuff with my parents, and then again it was just back to back chess. And of course we would maybe go for walks, or we would go for a run, or something outdoors, but if there was nothing else, that would keep me, most of the day was spent around chess, because there was my parents' technically job, right? And I just stayed around to learn.
Mhm.
And so I think that is the reason I had such a good period. That year 2007 was one of the best years of my chess career, in a way, because I had qualified for the World Chess Championship. I played really well in the European Women's Championship, and I also had gotten a medal, I think, in World, World, no, not World, sorry, European Girls Championship under 18, I think.
Mhm.
So I've had a really good year because I was working on chess. The reason for my like final years of junior years, let's say, that I did so well is because when I finished 8th grade, I chose to go to a sports high school. So instead of choosing a very good top high school, I chose that. I could have gotten into it. My average was close to perfect, so I could have gotten in a good, informatics or math. I was pretty good at those things, but I wanted to pursue chess. So what this school was allowing me was to travel to play tournaments much more than a regular high school where you had to go, like you couldn't miss too many classes.
Mhm.
At this sports high school, we were doing the same amount of hours as other high schools, but basically the professors were a bit more understanding. So if you're traveling, you could make up the work, and they didn't give you that much to make up for. So
Mhm.
it helped me to be able to just focus on chess. And I think that that was the plus that I had during those years. And so that's how I hit my peak. And had I taken, a year off between high school and college, maybe I could have gotten even higher. But although I think I did pretty well managing my time as a university student in the US, and continuing some chess career, it definitely took away from it because I basically like moved from Romania to a new country, um, without my parents, like by myself in a way, and I didn't. Um, i- when you go by yourself, you don't
Yeah.
have as much discipline, or I didn't have as much discipline with making sure that I put in as much time on chess
Right.
as I did when I was home, unfortunately.
Hmm.
So that, contributed to my rating loss for some time. And yeah, that was that was a problem with chess, but I got an education, so
Yeah.
sometimes you get something in life and you have to give something back.
Yeah, that's true. So when you did move to Baltimore for college, what were some difficulties that you faced or culture shocks?
Oh, there are quite a lot of things. First of all, so I was by myself. The first thing, it's kind of maybe unexpected, but like the prices that I would see in the store for
Yeah.
things, you
Uh-huh.
get this extra tax added, and I didn't know about it because in Europe everything is already added, so you know what you're paying. And I
Yeah.
needed a new laptop, so I thought, I had the money ready for, I think it was $700 or six, whatever it was, and then I go there and it's like 900, and I was like, what? I don't remember what the fee was, but I remember it was like close to 200 more or something, and I was like, wait, that's unexpected. Then I felt that people are a bit too friendly sometimes, and I
Uh-huh.
didn't know if they really meant it or not, because we are, I don't know. There were a few people who were trying to get me into some different cults or something, and I was a bit scared.
Yeah.
There was the city is quite known for its crime, so I was often scared, to go by myself places. Um,
Mhm.
but I've met some very wonderful people there, and that I, still keep friendships with some of my professors. And I also, quite soon, I got like a small job, like a media librarian, to help out a few hours a week at this computer, kind of like a small library thing.
Hmm.
And that helped me meet even more people from different cultures. Um, with the language was definitely really tough because,
Right.
um, first of all, I had not much experience to write, like, you know, serious papers. I didn't know about citations.
Yeah.
In Romania, sometimes you could just go online, copy something that was spelled, and like some, research about something,
Mhm.
something small, whatever they would give you, like write about, um, I don't know, the why it is raining or something. So you'd go
Yeah.
online, Google it, print that out, give it to the professors, and you would get the 10. Sometimes you could do
Uh-huh.
that. I know it's it's not okay, but you could in the past.
Yeah.
And then I had to learn all these citations. Also, I had to learn British English, and
Mhm.
oftentimes I would use, I guess, British words, and I had to take this English as a second language class, and the professor was pretty tough with me. He said that, like, whenever I would put a British word, I would get a minus. So instead of getting A, I would get a B. And I was like, come on, like, that's not fair. Like, why are you doing this? It's a
Uh-huh.
word, it's an English word. Yeah, 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 but you should check it. And I was like, I can't check every single word in the dictionary. I don't have time for that. How much time do you want me to put for this class? I have five others. So there are a few things like this that I had to deal with. Food wise, also, I felt that, the food didn't taste as good as it did in Europe.
Yeah.
I had to learn to cook.
Yeah.
Um, So I knew some things. I was always passionate about cooking, but I had to learn a few things about cooking. And I guess I don't remember. It was really funny. Um, I remember this funny thing that I did is I don't remember if we had microwave or not. I'm sure we had, but I wasn't using it much. So I bought this pizza, and it said that it said oven, but I don't know if it said microwave, but I didn't read it correctly. So
Uh-huh.
it said 10 minutes, so I put it in the microwave for 10 minutes
Oh.
and it kind of the alarm turned on. And I remember that was crazy because the landlord came and was like, "What happened?" I was like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't know. I thought it said 10 minutes." And yeah, it was definitely not edible pizza.
Mhm.
Um, so I had to learn a few things that I wasn't used to, but I don't know. I was always kind of open, and oh yeah, I didn't know sometimes how to address, like for example, people of color, because
Hmm.
I didn't meet that many, uh,
Yeah.
and in America it's a big thing. So I was very interested in learning about, I one of my best friends, she was African American, and I asked her like, how should I, how, when I have a class, we have to talk about it, and I don't know. Can you please tell me, because I'm scared. She's like, why are you scared? As long you can call me either African American or black, that's fine, Sabina. Don't worry. Just don't use, the other word. And I was like, oh, okay. So, that was kind of cool. And also, like, because I was friends with her, I could see how she was talking to me in a certain way and how she was
Hmm.
talking to her African American or parents.
Yeah.
And I was looking at her. Are you the same girl? Are you sure? Because you talk differently. And it was kind
Uh-huh.
of cool and in a way nice that she was trying to make sure they understood what she was saying rather than talking slang. And so
Yeah.
lots of fun stuff. I think those are the ones that I still remember. I'm sure there's a lot of others.
Uh-huh. And finally, it's actually almost time. So just to wrap up the episode, I wanted to ask you, do you have any advice for young aspiring girls in chess?
Definitely. So I think, chess is can sometimes be a cruel game.
Yeah.
Because loss is part of the game, and if you don't learn from the beginning that loss is actually a way of helping you to get stronger and better, you are going to have to suffer.
Hmm.
So it is very important that you take losses as part of your learning process. There's always going to be a day where you might play again and lose, and that's okay, as long as you're willing to understand why the mistake was made and try not to make the exact same mistake again. You're on the right path to improvement. I also want to tell them to not only focus on rating. A lot of times, if people don't see progress from, I don't know, from month to month, sometimes even it takes more than a year to really see rating change much. um, they just become upset and they feel like giving up and stuff. I think what they have to do is try to think about how much knowledge they have accumulated through that period of time. Did you really put in the work? You have to be disciplined to do continuous work in chess these days more than ever. You cannot expect to do well unless you're, of course, super lucky. But otherwise, you cannot expect to do well if you haven't put in the time for chess.
Hmm.
So whatever it is that you do, you don't have to be a professional player, but you can certainly use chess as a means to get better in other fields or for your life. You can do it for fun. Like, just have fun with chess in the sense that just enjoy the creativity, enjoy what it gives you. So make sure you take that as part of your learning process, and don't get demoralized if you're having a setback. Setbacks are just ways to push you forward if you're willing to put in the work. And yeah, the spend the time on different things, different parts of the game, um, and um, and never stop believing in yourself.
Okay.
That's it's always something, yeah, that has to be reminded of, I think.
Yeah, I think sometimes when we're playing a really competitive game, it's kind of easy to lose track of what is actually important to you. So yeah, I really agree with your advice. It does help.
Do you
So
yourself play? Because I didn't ask you much. Like, how where are you with chess?
I used to play competitively, but I dropped out a little bit when I came into high school with time and everything. But
Mhm.
now I'm really getting back in. I'm not playing it competitively as I used to, but still at my school chess tournaments and then just local competitions nearby. So I'm still in the game, and I feel like that's kind of all I can manage right now. But
Mhm.
I'm really happy with it because I'm at least I'm still in there. I'm still thinking critically. So that's really what means a lot to me.
That's great to hear. And you should know, and everyone should know that, you don't necessarily need to be a competitive player in order to be able to make a change for the game of chess. There are
Mhm.
various things that you can do to help, share your passion for chess, like you do maybe with this podcast, and try to interview, different people, different girls, and try to make them aware of challenges that other players have faced. But you can also become like an arbiter, or organize tournaments, or spread the word about the various events, and those things are really important. And I think the more women do like this, the more we try to encourage each other, the more women will see in the game of chess. Because unfortunately, at some point there's the period of time where we have other interests, and some of us drop out, or they have moments where they just don't want to do it, or cannot do it, or something comes in the way. But I think if you have the passion for it, you should try to, if you can, still find a way to stay in the game somehow, through some means, and connect others with their passion for chess, or passion for other things, whatever that may be, and just utilize the game um, as a means to support each other as females, because we need more of us to stay in the game. And at some point I would love to see more females in the top 100 in the world, if possible. I think that would be wonderful.
Yeah. So thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and have this conversation with us. We really appreciate your time on the podcast. And to all our viewers, I hope today you were able to learn more about Sabina Foisor and her incredible story. And that concludes our December feature. Make sure to stay tuned in for our next episode. Once again, I'm your host, Shivi Shrivastava. Thanks for tuning in.